All right, Nick, let's talk about the Miami Hurricanes off to a hot start. 3 wins in a row by this Miami team. And I think that hot start has potentially heated up the recruiting game for Miami, getting some big time commitments this week. We will go over those in just a moment, but I think this is going to be huge for Miami, Nick.
Yeah, Miles, of course, you can kind of get a little bit of a feeling. It's just a slow movement right now, but it is there. A little bit of momentum behind this Miami Hurricanes program, of course, off to a hot start to the 2023 campaign. And that leads me directly into my question today in the comment section below for you Hurricanes fans out there. What's the one surprising thing that really stuck out to you so far this season? Was it the defense, offense, one player in particular that's breakout? Whatever it may be, give us the most surprising thing to the upside, obviously, that you've seen from Miami so far this season. All right, Miles, but what you got though? What's the latest recruiting news out of Miami?
Yeah, Nick, the Hurricanes have scored big time in the 2025 class already, propelling them to the top of the rankings for that year when they got 5-star defensive lineman Armando Blunt. Let's go into the article. We'll read that and then talk about how big this is for the Hurricanes afterwards. Nick, this was from over on CBS Sports. It says Miami Hurricanes bolstered their 2025 recruiting class with a key local addition on Thursday, landing a commitment from from 5-star defensive lineman Armando Blunt. The Miami Central High School standout is the number 6 prospect in the 2025 recruiting cycle, regardless of position, and the number 1 among all players in the state of Florida in that cycle, according to 47 Sports. Blunt is just the third player in his cycle to commit to Miami, but he is nonetheless moves the Hurricanes 2025 recruiting class into the top 10, Nick. For the rankings of that cycle, Miami is now number 6 in those rankings after previously checking in at number 14. He joins 4-star wide receiver Walden Charles and 3-star quarterback Luke Nickel as the 2025 prospects who have pledged to play for Mario Cristobal. Nick, Mario Cristobal and co have things rolling this season into Miami, but it seems like they're building big time for the future and having this hot of a start from Miami, showing how good this team potentially could be. I think it's really getting the ball rolling. They've landed a huge in-state recruit, as I said, a guy from Miami, went to Miami Central, big time, probably biggest prospect in that class on the defense side of the ball. This guy's absolutely incredible, heck of a player. I think this is huge for Miami, especially winning the in-state battle early. Nick, what do you think about this signing? What does it mean for Miami going forward?
So it's so interesting how fast momentum can kind of overflow. It takes a long time, but when it builds, and when it hits. And we saw it, of course, against Texas A&M. A&M coming into Miami, right? They were ranked. Jimbo Fisher, Connor Wegman, maybe he's going to be an all-SEC quarterback. A&M added Bobby Petrino, the quarterback guru in the offseason. Looks like A&M is going to get it figured out. They've got a lot of talent, great recruiting classes, SEC versus ACC. Big opportunity for A&M to show their stuff. Exact opposite. Miami absolutely throttles A&M 48-33, clearly establishes dominance over their SEC West rival. To me, that little momentum boost right there was sort of the final thing to push Blunt to commit. I think the timing of this is not an accident. He obviously was being recruited heavy by Alabama, by Florida, and by Miami, of course, but he waited to see what happened this weekend. He saw what happened with Alabama. He's seen what's happening with University of Florida, which has not been good. And then he sees Miami absolutely throttle Texas A&M. He's like, okay, that's what I needed to see. This program is on the right track. I'm going to commit and go there. And we talk about it all the time. Good recruiting begets better recruiting. Now there are going to be other top recruits that are going to see this commitment, and they're going to get more of them going to want to commit and come into Miami as well. And I'm going to add a little prefix to that first saying. Instead of just good recruiting begets better recruiting, how about winning football games begets good recruiting, which begets better recruiting? That's what we're seeing from Miami. It takes a long time. It takes a few years. But if you can produce a consistently good product on the field on Saturdays, that'll help you in the recruiting game. And once it starts helping you in the recruiting game, more and better recruits will want to join your program, which will then feed right back into how you do on Saturdays. It will take time. I think one of the problems with Miami's rebuild over the past few years is there hasn't been enough patience in terms of finding the right coach to get it done on the field and recruiting. You got to do them both. It looks like they may have their guy in Cristobal because we're seeing the momentum. They're better on the field and recruits are coming in. I mean, when's the last time Miami got a top prospect in the state of Florida to commit? I can't remember it. Like, I remember growing up as a kid, they got all the guys. It's been a while since they've got any of the top guys. I think we're starting to see that happen now in Miami, and I think a lot of momentum is behind this program.
Yeah, Nick, I think this is huge for the program. And I think that this guy could be big time for them because we got to always just take a peek at the guys who are recruiting these guys and how have their conversions been? What are their hits looking like? And Joe Salavea, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. Could be wrong. Sorry, Joe. He has gotten some big time hits. This is a guy, Kayvon Thibodeau. Remember that pass rusher from Oregon now for the Giants. What a stud he was. Also, younger brother of Penei Sewell, linebacker Noah Sewell as well. He was involved in recruiting him. And of course, we're talking about Armando Blunt now. So this guy has had a limited recruiting lineup, but all of these guys seem to be pretty big hits so far. He also has another 5-star offensive lineman coming to Miami as well. So I think this is huge for Miami going forward. And I think this guy could be a potential star in the making.